Wait, now we talking about cutting boards. Why are you always so stingy with washing your cutting boards constantly, but the one on your chest you never wash?
Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Giri's Kitchen. This week, we're gonna be making Greek food from the Mediterranean. We're gonna be making gyros and pitas from scratch and all the trimmings as well, including tzatziki and toppings. I think it's gonna be great. I'm very, very excited. I've been craving gyros for a while, so let's get cooking. So we're gonna start with the pita because it does take a little bit of time to rise and everything. We're gonna use our leftover bread flour. We need 375 grams. I'm gonna add a little bit of all-purpose flour. You don't have to do this. You can use all-purpose flour or all bread flour. 375. So we're gonna add in 7 grams of yeast. Sugar is 9 grams. That's a lot of sugar. And we're gonna need 7 grams of salt. Make sure your salt is separated from your yeast because salt can hinder the activity of your yeast. Sugar helps it, salt hinders it. But salt is necessary when you're trying to get flavor in, obviously. Water is 243. Water is 243. This is just room temperature water. I'm just gonna use my hands, try to make it into a dough ball. If it's a little wet, then add in a little bit more flour. If it's too dry, then add in a little bit more water. We're looking for a soft dough-ish. It's not supposed to be too dry, like compared to when we're making noodles. It should be nice and malleable. So this dough is a little bit sticky. I believe that it's okay if it is a little sticky. It shouldn't be too dry and crusty. You want it a little bit more moist, a little bit more sticky. Just knead it for maybe 3 to 5 minutes total. You don't really have to go for the super tight or shiny finish on the dough. As long as it's combined together and it feels like it's fighting back a little bit, it should be good enough. And then we can just wrap that up and let it rest room temperature for 45 minutes to an hour. I'm gonna start the potatoes. The potatoes needs to soak for a little bit. We're gonna make some Parmesan, panko, breadcrumb, crusted potato wedges that we're going to use to stuff with our gyros. Normally, I believe it's usually made with fries, but I don't really want to deep fry. I'm a little lazy to do the deep frying and also don't want it to be too hot with the oil spattering everywhere. So instead, I thought a nice compromise would be crispy, savory, cheesy potato wedges instead that we're going to use to stuff with the gyros. All right, I'm gonna peel these and I'm gonna cut them into wedges and put them in my bowl. Remember to take the eyes out of your potatoes because the eyes tend to make you sick, and it also gives a very unpleasant color and also a potentially unpleasant taste. These potatoes are quite long. They are quite girthy. I'm going to cut these in half horizontally, and then I'm going to cut them into wedges and put them in the bowl, and then we're going to soak them in some hot water. And the potatoes that I'm using are russet potatoes. Russet potatoes works best for fries and for wedges because they're more starchy. I'm going to salt it a little bit just so that I can have a little bit of flavor. And I usually like to soak potatoes with cold water, but this time we're going to actually soak it with hot water. Let that soak for 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes, and then we're going to drain it, pat dry. With a little bit of salt just to flavor the water a little bit, and then we're going to soak that. Then we're going to work on the meat. I might have frozen my meat for a little too long, but we'll see what happens. So we're going to need a few slices of garlic. I'm just going to smack these. Okay, I'm going to chop my garlic real fine because it's going to be for the marinade. I'm going to save a little bit extra because we're going to use parts of the garlic for the potato wedges as well. So some of them will be for the meat marinade and some of it will be for the potato. I have some rosemary that I'm going to cut off as well because we're going to use that for the marinade. You need about 2 teaspoons? 1 teaspoon? I'm just giving the rosemary a really fine chop. As long as it's powder-ish, it should be okay. I'll show you guys what I got. Okay, I'm gonna do the pork now. So this is pork loin. Ideally, you will want pork butt or pork shoulder, something a little bit more fatty, but my grocery store didn't actually have anything else except for pork loin. So we're just gonna make do and try our best. So the reason why you would want to freeze your pork is when it's semi-hard, not completely frozen through, obviously, not hard like a rock. When it's semi-hard, it's a lot easier for your knife to get a little bit of grip on your meat. So it's a lot easier to slice compared to when it's completely fresh and not hard. And this is about 1 pound of pork, a little bit more than 1 pound of pork. I have some pork shoulder from the stream mascara that I'm going to add in as well to kind of pad it a little bit to give it a little bit more meat and maybe a little bit more fat, but we'll see. And the reason why you want it thin is it will cook a little bit more evenly and also a little bit more thoroughly compared to if the meat was cut really thick. So you do want it thin-ish. Not paper thin, but thin-ish. This is a pork shoulder. These are not frozen. These are not pre-frozen. But I'm gonna see if I can get some thin slices just to kind of pad. And we're gonna work on the marinade. Okay, we have our meat ready. We need 1 tablespoon of oregano. So this is gonna be our mixture. I'll just do it here. 1 tablespoon of paprika, black pepper.
Wait, now we talking about cutting boards. Why are you always so stingy with washing your cutting boards constantly, but the one on your chest you never wash?
1 tablespoon salt. And then we need 2 tablespoons of oil. And we're gonna mix that up a little bit, and then we're gonna put that in the meat. Okay, I'm just gonna use my hands and make that into like a paste-ish thing. I'm just using my hand and just trying to rub in all the sauce into the meat. I think this is adequately mixed, I believe. I have an apple, not that anybody cares. I'm gonna cut the apple in half, not that anybody cares. Okay, and I'm gonna use that as the bottom and the top of the gyro spindle, not that anybody cares. Okay, you can replace this with an onion if you want, but I think an apple is kind of cute, so we're doing an apple instead. Not that anybody cares. I don't have the proper skewers for spindling a gyro, so I just have my regular skewers. Hopefully these will work. So what I have here is the meat that's already marinated, and then I'm just going to skewer them onto a bunch of skewers. It's being held together by an apple. We're gonna bake that in the oven for about 45 minutes or so, and then we can eat it and we can start carving it right after. We have our beautiful little gyro spit roast. So right now it's being blocked by an apple on the bottom and an apple on the top. I have it nice and pressed together, so it's gonna keep it together, and then we're gonna roast this, and we're gonna periodically turn it around time to time for a total of maybe 45 minutes or so, and then we're gonna keep rotating this. If you do have a wire rack to elevate it, it would be better, but I don't have one, so we're just gonna keep it directly on the thing. Temperature is 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes or so. I'm gonna dry off my potatoes, and we're gonna start preparing the potatoes a little bit because it does take a little bit of time to cook as well. But we have our potatoes. We're gonna strain them.
A few moments later.
I have dried off the potatoes. Okay, I have my Ziploc bag. I'm gonna put in my patted dry potatoes in here that I have been soaking in hot water for the last 30 minutes or so with a little bit of salt. So it's not cooked through or anything. It's still like raw, but it's nice to have the outside a little bit softened, a little bit more gelatinized. So it's ready for air frying. So we have our chopped garlic from earlier. You can choose to use garlic powder, but I have fresh garlic, and I think chewing on little chunks of fresh garlic tastes a little bit better. I'm gonna do a little bit of salt. I'm gonna do a little bit of oregano, and I'm gonna do some salt, and I did the salt, so I'm gonna do pepper. I'm gonna grate some Parmesan into the potatoes, so it's gonna be nice and cheesy. I'm adding some panko, by the way. I'm massaging my potatoes. Okay, I think the potatoes are done being massaged. So I have my air fryer here, and we're gonna grab our air fryer. We're gonna get a little bit of a spray oil, a little bit of spray avocado oil, right? A canola oil, sorry. And then we're gonna spray a little bit into our air fryer container here. You know, more oil the better, because it is America. We love America. We love our oil. We're gonna spray it all in there, cover every nook and cranny with our oil. Now that the oil's then in there, we're gonna grab our little wedges, and then we're gonna place them neatly into our colander, yeah? I'm gonna put this in the air fryer for, I think it's 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 minutes or so. I think I'm gonna crank that up to 400 instead and see if I can diminish that down to maybe half an hour. We'll see what happens. And then we're gonna check on it and stir it up halfway through. And I'm also going to turn over the pork. I'm gonna start making the tzatziki sauce just a little bit. So tzatziki sauce is quite simple. I'm gonna grab my grater, and I'm gonna use the biggest grate setting, and I'm gonna grate half a cucumber, so the whole cucumber, half of it, into my measuring cup here, and I'm gonna add in a little bit of salt and let that sit for a little bit. So the cucumbers are resting in the salt so that I can draw out a little bit of extra water, and then I'm gonna squeeze it out later. I think I'm going to, in the meantime, prep the veggies and have that set aside so that it's ready. And we're gonna work on the pitas last. So the other side dishes that go with your gyro is thinly sliced red onion and some thinly sliced tomato and some chopped green onion. And we're gonna use the dill and the lemon for the tzatziki sauce. Okay, I cut both ends off of the onion and I'm just gonna slice it this way, as thin as I could. I'm gonna cut the tomato now. I'll slice it like this. I'll cut it in half lengthwise, and then I'm gonna cut it in slices this way. And tomatoes, you also want to try to slice it as thinly as you can. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of green onion. You need 2 cups of Greek yogurt, which is about 450 grams, I think, was the recipe. And then we're gonna put in our cucumber that's been soaking in the salt. We're gonna squeeze out all the extra water that we can so it's not so goopy. We have our cucumber, tzatziki sauce, Greek yogurt, and we're gonna need dill. Get some dill. I have my dill, my thing. What else do I need? Olive oil, lemon juice, salt, and pepper. Okay. Olive oil, probably like a tablespoon. We're gonna need some lemon juice. Let me massage my lemon just a little bit. I'm gonna grab maybe like a quarter of a lemon or 1/3, and I'm gonna squeeze it into my tzatziki. I don't actually know how much lemon, so I'm gonna eyeball it. I really like it fresh though. Also, my tzatziki looks very, very handsome. I'm gonna work on I'm gonna check on the thing real quick. I'm gonna punch down my dough. Punch it down like it owes me money. But I'm gonna divide this into 6 pieces first. I'm gonna make it into a dough. Wrap it up. Tighten it into a ball. I'm gonna make 6 pieces. So normally I would just use a bench scraper, but I'm too lazy to go get it. So I'm just gonna use my knife instead. The meat is done. Potatoes are done. I'm gonna try pan frying these and see how they go. If it doesn't go well, I will change and use the oven instead. So I'm gonna turn this up to medium heat maybe. Brush it with a little bit of oil. And I'm gonna grab one, flatten it. I'm just gonna roll it out nice and flat into a gyro shape. Okay, let's give it a second, see how that goes. Okay, let's see how this is. Okay, that's kind of cool. It's supposed to puff up, but because I'm not doing it in the oven, I think that's why it's not puffing up, but hopefully it'll still taste good. All right, I think I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna grab the meat and I'm gonna shave the meat. It is time, chat, it is time. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I hope I am. You're supposed to just shave it down, right?
You were correct.
I'm gonna try to remove the apple though. The apple is kind of annoying. You guys see that? I'm cutting. Okay, I think the rest I can probably just chop it down normally. We're probably gonna be using all of it anyways. I'm gonna grab a pita. I'm gonna leave the pretty side on the outside, so I'm gonna flip it over. And then I'm gonna use my clean hand. Grab some of our beautiful tzatziki sauce. A big dollop of tzatziki. Especially when the pork is a little bit dry, because I couldn't find a fattier cut. I want to like make sure that's mitigated by like some creamy sauce instead. And we're gonna add in, I'm gonna use one dirty hand and I'm gonna add in a big chunk. And then I believe it's tradition to add in, Oni bro's like literally waiting for me to pack his food. Like, bro, can you like back off for like 1 second? Okay, and he likes the onions. So I'm gonna give him some onions. All right, tell me how it is. It's good. Oh, 8 out of 10. Okay, that's not too bad. And here we have our completed meal. We made pitas from scratch, gyros from scratch. We have some red onions, tomatoes, green onions, homemade tzatziki sauce, all the trimmings that you would normally find. Oh, and the garlic parmesan wedges as well. All that you would typically see in a really yummy stuffed pita gyro. If you guys ever make it, make sure you leave a comment down below. I would love to see how it turned out for you guys. I post very regularly, so make sure you click the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. All those wonderful things to keep up with my regular uploads. And I hope that you guys had fun watching this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! I missed it. It was actually so... Wait, what? Wait, I wanna know what happened.
The good thing you missed was this pants grab.
No, there's no way I missed that.